Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing, starting off with plenty of sun out there this morning with some cooler conditions and a slight breeze out of the northeast. As we move through the week this week, we'll just be contending with a slightly breezy northeasterly wind. Otherwise, we'll see slightly below average temperatures and no significant precipitation or lightning expected as we move through the week. If we take a look at our current surface analysis, we'll see we have that boundary that pushed through the area yesterday, bringing in those cooler and drying conditions. Seeing some slight surface troughing along that boundary just off the Carolina coast. That, along with this area of high pressure that's built in behind it over the moving into the northeastern part of the country, that's bringing us that northeasterly flow, keeping the pressure gradient tight enough to keep a decent breeze blowing as we move mainly through the daytime hours over the coming days. But overall, this pattern will stay pretty stagnant as we move through much of the week. We'll start to see that breakdown as we get later in the week, mainly Friday into Saturday. That's when we'll start to see our next chances of some precipitation moving into the area. More so on Saturday, but we'll see a slight chance possibly on Friday as well. If we start off with our current conditions this morning, seeing a few clouds around 3,000 feet, a few clouds at 25,000 feet, winds generally out of the north at around 8 knots, and temperature at 62 degrees. Relative humidity is at 72%. Take a look at our current visible satellite. We can see just a few clouds, mainly off the coast here. And I do expect some of that to build in over the local area as we move through the day today, but otherwise mainly clear skies across the area and just some high clouds and some upper level smoke that will be moving through the area today. If we look at our European model here to see how things play out over the coming days. Again, no precipitation or lightning expected as we move through the day today, just some slightly breezy conditions. We'll see a slight chance of maybe a wind advisory as we move into the later morning and afternoon hours. And then we'll see those winds calm down slightly as we go through the overnight time frame. And we'll see some increasing high clouds as we get into the day on Wednesday. Continued dry conditions and pretty much a repeat as we move through the day on Wednesday. Slightly breezy conditions, high pressure still in control, but no precipitation expected. We'll see likely more in the way of some lower level clouds moving through the areas, move through the daytime hours tomorrow. And as we go overnight into Thursday, much of the same, looking at mainly dry conditions. We'll slowly start to see that area of high pressure center moving off to the east, but still keeping a northeasterly breezy flow over the local area as we move through much, if not all, of the week this week. So looking at our 24-hour weather risk chart for today, expecting mainly green conditions as we move through the next 24 hours. We'll be looking at a yellow risk for those winds at or above 25 knots. As we move through the day today, expecting those winds to pick up out of the northeast, 10 to 15 knots, with our peak winds up around 23 knots. So good chance we see those peak winds stay below that 25 knot threshold, but can't rule out a few of those peak winds getting above 25 knots. For our high today, we're looking at a temperature of 74 degrees. So that's well below average for this time of year. And overall, expecting partly cloudy conditions with just some of those scattered clouds around 3,000 feet building in. Could see a ceiling around 3,000 feet develop at times, but overall just a few just scattered as we move through the daytime hours. Going into the overnight time frame, we'll see an increase in some of that high clouds, some of the high clouds moving in around 25,000 feet. Otherwise, similar evening with a northeast wind calming down to around 5 to 10 knots, and that will allow temperatures to fall to around 59 degrees for our low this evening, and overall just partly cloudy and cool conditions. We'll see our tides running slightly above normal with help of that onshore flow. And the next couple days, pretty much a repeat of what we are going to see today. We'll see partly to mostly cloudy conditions for Wednesday, slightly breezy. Do keep that yellow risk for winds that are above 25 knots. High around 75 degrees. We'll see a slight warming trend as we go into Wednesday. Mostly cloudy with a slight breeze, low around 64 degrees. Green conditions for our weather risk. And as we go into Thursday, slightly warmer with a high around 78 degrees, but still below average for this time of year. We do pick up that yellow risk for winds that are above 25 knots. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and slightly breezy once again for our Thursday. So that's going to wrap up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.